Welcome to the channel. Shocking photo of the world.
Brigitte Bardot visiting Pablo Picasso. Villa California, Cannes, 1956. Phone booth, New York, 1982. Photographer Helen Levitt. Dinner in the luxurious dining room of the Hindenburg airship during a flight from Frankfurt to New York, 1938. Pushball game, Canada, 1925. 5-year-old shrimp harvester Manuel, Mississippi, USA, February 1911. Marilyn Monroe and Joe DiMaggio visit the Hiroshima Atomic Bomb Memorial Hall during their honeymoon in Japan, 1954. A U.S. Air Force B-1B Lancer bomber makes an emergency landing, 1989. Fridtjof Nansen, Norwegian polar explorer, scientist, Nobel Prize laureate, 1896. Gwyneth Paltrow, Jude Law, and Matt Damon met on the set of The Talented Mr. Ripley, 1999. How many of you remember the movie The Object of My Affection? It starred Paul Rudd and Jennifer Aniston, 1998. Director, screenwriter and producer Stanley Kubrick screen tests for the dystopian film A Clockwork Orange, 1971. The real First Lady. First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt at Lake Chazy, New York, with the Smith & Wesson .22 pistol she carried when she refused Secret Service protection, 1934. Elegant style on the streets of New York in 1928. Dutch cyclist Piet van Kempen rides on the Wembley track during the London six-day cycling race, September 25, 1936. Sausage tree at the International Food Exhibition in Berlin, 1976. Luxury sedans of the 90s, BMW 7 Series, Cadillac Fleetwood Broom, Infiniti Q45, Jaguar XJ12, Lexus EOS 400, Lincoln Continental, and Mercedes-Benz S-Class. Woman wearing a special mask to combat depression, Budapest, Hungary, 1937. Two legendary jokers before they played their iconic role. Heath Ledger won an Oscar in 2009, and Joaquin Phoenix won in 2020. Edward Norton and Brad Pitt. Polaroid photo taken during the filming of Fight Club. A young Michael Jordan holds up a brand new pair of Nike Jordan sneakers. This photo shows the bold Swedish actress and model Betty Bjurström. This photo is often passed off as a picture of Marilyn Monroe. The beauties really did look alike. Paris, 1947. John Travolta, Phil Lamar and Samuel L. Jackson on the set of Pulp Fiction, 1994. 3-year-old Paris Hilton runs away from former First Lady Nancy Reagan. New York, 1983. British rock band Pink Floyd, 1967. Hermann Goering in the dock at the Nuremberg trials, 1946. Glamour of the 60s. Carrot-colored Marilyn Monroe through the lens of George Barris, 1962. Bruce Willis, Tom Hanks and Melanie Griffith. Promotional photo for the film Bonfire of the Vanities, 1990. 17-year-old Bianca Passage dances on wine bottles in a cat costume. Hamburg, 1958. An emotional girl holds a bunch of grass that Ringo Starr walked on. Los Angeles Airport, 1964. 650 American officers and enlisted men lined up in the shape of a horse, paying tribute to the more than 8 million horses, mules and donkeys who died in World War I. Bruce Lee's morning workout plan in 1965. A great shot. Actor Yul Brynner at the premiere of the film The Ten Commandments, where he played the role of Ramses E. 1956. A soldier of the French Foreign Legion holds a dog named Fritz, who was the battalion's mascot. He was accepted into the battalion in 1940 and has been with the soldiers ever since. Activist Ben Muzzle smokes while voting in the 1976 presidential election. He took advantage of a law prohibiting arrests during voting. Robert Oppenheimer with Albert Einstein at the Institute for Advanced Study, USA, 1947. Photographs and fingerprints of Benito Mussolini, Bern, Switzerland, 1903. 1949. French cyclist Gino Chadis' bicycle is greased during the Tour de France. 1930. Booze smugglers cross the frozen Detroit River from Canada. The door is always open, so the driver can jump out if the ice breaks. A young Hugh Laurie, Rowan Atkinson, Tony Slattery, Stephen Fry, Penny Dwyer, Emma Thompson, and Paul Shearer win the first Perrier Comedy Award in 1981. Later renamed the Edinburgh Award. Actors Tobey Maguire and Leonardo DiCaprio met at a young age during an audition. They have been best friends ever since. -1-year-old Drew Barrymore gives Princess Diana an E.T. doll, with Steven Spielberg and Robert McNaughton in the background at the film's London premiere. Former Top Gear presenters as children include Jeremy Clarkson, James May and Richard Hammond. Marilyn Monroe gambling with director John Huston during the filming of The Misfits. 1960. Actor Paul Newman stands next to his racing car before the start of the 24 Hours of Le Mans. June 11, 1979. Actor Mel Ferrer and Audrey Hepburn kiss during a tennis match in Cap d'Antibes, France. 1956. Sean Connery photographs Brigitte Bardot during the filming of Sherlocko in Deauville, France. 1968. A girl demonstrates special glasses with lights for reading in the dark. 1932. Taxi driver with a gas cylinder on the roof of his car. 1917. Gas was used instead of petrol during World War I. Drive. Raymond Demodian, inventor of the first MRI machine, performs the first MRI scan on his assistant Larry Minkoff. 1977. Traditional hairstyle known the squash blossom curl, worn by unmarried Hopi women on Arizona reservations. 1901. Red Cross nurses wearing gas masks, helping soldiers suffering from the Spanish flu. 1918. A sleeping bag for a soldier, allowing him to quickly enter combat if necessary. 1947. Lavery Valley Charmian was an aerialist and bodybuilder who lived in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. Fall 1999. 18 years later, Jeff Bezos, pictured here, would become the richest man in the world. Australian Aboriginal footballer Nicky Winmar primarily points to his skin by being subjected to racist abuse during a game. 1993. A pole climbing lesson at a telephone electrician's course at the University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, Michigan, circa 1918. Arnold Schwarzenegger and his brother Mahard Schwarzenegger. 1967. Few people know that Arnold had a brother. He did. He passed away on May 20, 1971. He died in a car accident while driving drunk. They were only 1 year apart in age. Mahard was the older one. Jean-Claude Van Damme, the original Predator costume, before being fired from the film. 1987. A car is tested for resistance to lightning strikes by applying a discharge of 3 million volts. 1942. 1956. American physicist John Bardeen is the only person to have won the Nobel Prize in Physics twice. The first time, at the ceremony, the King of Sweden, who presented the award, asked why he had brought only one of his 3 children to this prestigious event. Bardeen replied that he would bring all 3 the next time, and he kept his promise. 1954. Ernest Hemingway is interviewed by a journalist in Entebbe, Uganda, after he and his wife survived a plane crash during their African safari in a matter of days. 1953. Marilyn Monroe suffered from insomnia for many years. One night he called a photographer friend, and then his series of night portraits was born. 1958. Civil rights activist Martin Luther King receives first aid in New York's Harlem Hospital. He was stabbed in the chest by an assassin during a book signing. The blade is clearly visible in this photo. 1931. The German airship Zeppelin returns to Berlin from its Arctic voyage. 1963. In his first film role, 11-year-old Kurt Russell immediately played opposite Elvis Presley. In the film happened at the World's Fair. They had to short dialogues together, at the end of which he gave Elvis a good kick in the shins both times. In 1979, Kurt Russell would play Elvis Presley in a biopic. 1920. Tour de France riders share cigarettes during the race. Even in the 1950s, smoking was common among competitive cyclists,